So in comparing a Mr. Olympia to a great bodybuilder who never won the Olympia, it seems that a lot of you guys become biased to your favorite bodybuilder and start judging based on personal preference that has nothing to do with reasonable judging. Keep in mind that when a bodybuilder wins the Olympia, then there must be a reason for that. And when the bodybuilder wins the title for years in a row, you need to understand that these guys are still human beings who are subject to physiological and psychological changes throughout the years. But some of you guys just want to treat these people as machines, not taking into consideration the changes their bodies go through. Now, this is not meant to find excuses for the bloated stomach some of the greatest bodybuilders suffered from, such as Ronnie and recently Phil, who lost his title mainly because of this issue. But this just to remind you that we are dealing with human beings here and not robots. Now back to our topic about a Mr. Olympia versus a great bodybuilder who never won the Olympia, or the so-called the uncrowned Mr. Olympia, like Phil versus Flex or Kevin. It goes without saying that the Mr. Olympia proves to be more complete and better conditioned than the uncrowned Mr. Olympia. From 2011 until 2013, Phil arguably brought the greatest physique the Olympia stage witnessed from years. He was nearly flawless with no symptoms of the bloated stomach. He destroyed all rivals with his fullness, density, and roundedness. Back then, nobody dared calling him Phil the Guts Heath. Everything was in its proper place perfectly. This version of Phil would destroy any version of the 90s bodybuilders, including Kevin, Flex, and Sean Ray, whether you like it or not. Now, with all due respect for these guys, they never were as complete as Phil, and each had a major weakness which prevented him from winning the title. Just remember that these guys never won the title, not even for once. Yet, a lot of you guys think that they can beat someone like Phil, who won the title for 7 years, through which he was very dominant, except in 2014 when he came with the bloated stomach. But again, Kai also wasn't at his best and had his own weaknesses, which I've already spoken about in other videos. Now, Kevin never had the back or the legs Phil has. Not in 95, 97 or 98 or any other year during his prime, and never nailed his conditioning the way Phil does, even at his weakest last year. Yes, he was so powerful in the front poses, especially the most muscular, but when they turn around, Phil would destroy him, and it's not even funny. The same goes with Flex Wheeler, who was widely considered among the most aesthetic bodybuilders of all time. He was still criticized for having weak hamstrings and glutes and narrow lats, and was never as complete as a Mr. Olympia winner such as Phil. And that's why your rage about these guys losing to the more complete bodybuilder is truly unreasonable. Now, that being said, Dorian stating that Phil would lose to these guys, although he deep down knows that Phil is more complete than Kevin and Flex in their prime, raised many questions in my mind about the motives that pushed him to say what he said. Even during the interview with Joe Rogan, the UFC commentator who didn't even know who Phil Heath was, Dorian said that Phil looks great, but at the same time hinted at the bloated stomach, although Joe never asked him about it, and I'm sure that he never heard about it because he didn't know who Phil was in the first place. Yet, Dorian started talking about it out of the blue. Of course, each is entitled to his own opinion, but for me, Dorian underrating Lee Haney and accusing him of running away and picking on Phil's stomach with or without a reason is truly uncalled for. Now, I've criticized Phil's stomach on many occasions and made many videos about that issue and openly stated that he lost the title because of this problem. And in my comparison videos, almost never gave him the abs and thighs and even the front double biceps because of his bloated stomach and the fact that he is narrow in the chest area. So I'm definitely reasonable and aware of the fact that nobody has the perfect physique. Yet, Phil is still more complete than the 90s bodybuilders. The trophies say that, and I'm simply abiding by facts. I hope I made myself clear. Thanks for watching, and have a nice one.